Hello, everybody. Welcome. Tonight, we're going to talk about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry and the possibility of them having a deal with Christian Dior. When one door closes, another one opens, because all of the news that we've heard this week has been that Spotify canceled them. Of course, some say that it was mutual, but many people in the know was like, no, they didn't produce. They weren't coming up with the material. And they only came up with 12 episodes to a podcast for 21 million, and it didn't really perform very well. It wasn't very good, yada, yada, yada. And so they parted ways. Well, that's what we hear. And there's also some news I'm going to talk about on whether or not Netflix is going to put on the brakes as well. So we're going to talk about that in a second. I am Deanna from Hot for History. Welcome, guys. We like to come on here every now and then and chat a little bit about things like, hold on a second, things like, history and talk and gossip a little bit. And we're just speculating. We are alleging things that's out in the news. And we're trying to figure out what's going on with the royal family. And it's just kind of fun. So it's very interactive. I want to invite all of you guys to comment or whatever. And then I do my best to put your comments up there. I can't do all of them. But welcome. Let me know where you're from. We see people from Illinois, from Maryland, from California, from Tampa Bay. And I am here in Central Illinois right now. And then we have, I'm in PG County. Welcome, everybody. Okay, so this is first off, the trooping of the colors before we get into the whole thing with Dior, because I really want to talk about Dior. Welcome from Michigan, by the way. And yes, thanks for watching all of my shorts. I did make a video here about cleaning my ancestral graves, which was quite fun and interesting. We can talk about that in a little bit. But so there was the trooping of the color, and then the big drama was, oh my gosh, Harry and Meghan were not invited. Isn't that awful? Since it's the first time that Harry has not been invited to something like that since he's been able to go. And so that was kind of dramatic, because the king in general has been very welcoming in spite of all of the drama. He's been, come over, hang out with us. And he's been very welcoming. But word on the street was that he didn't invite them. Although, some are like, no, they were invited. They just didn't want to come. But apparently Louis was on the balcony again, and he is all the rage. He was hysterically funny with the flyover, and Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, apparently was not amused, but everybody else was amused when he was saluting and playing like he was, in the cockpit himself. So he was a lot of fun. So yes, Christine Mitchell, anything you can say regarding what they're saying in the UK about this, let's talk about it. I'm going to read this article, guys, about this kind of drama about Dior. To let you know, before I get into what they're saying, there is an interesting history regarding Dior and the royal family that goes back to Diana. So Diana apparently was like, I'm done with Chanel. Why? Because of the C and the C. Like, she didn't want those bags or anything. She didn't want the C and the C anymore. So she was like rebelling against Camilla and Charles in her fashion. So then she started using these samples, which was a Dior purse, and everybody went crazy about Diana wearing the Dior purse. And so she was wearing the Dior purse, and then they created a purse called the Lady Dior, or the Diana bag. So that is kind of how that happened. So Diana wore the bag a lot. Fast forward to Harry and Meghan recently at the coronation, and then even before, Harry is constantly wearing the suit, and you can see Meghan oftentimes wearing Dior. So that's kind of where we're at. In other words, there is a history with, the French designer, and then also there's controversy because at the coronation, everybody was like, oh, why isn't he wearing a British designer? So there's all that. So that's the backstory a little bit. So let me see what you guys have. Anything to say? I don't believe the Dior story. Okay, so let's read it. And I don't know if it's true either, but let's talk about it. And then Deborah, we do know about the Dior. I mean, the comment regarding Spotify. Okay, so we're going to talk about this rumor. Let's call it a rumor regarding Dior, because we don't know for sure. I also think kind of like Cinderanne that maybe it's a rumor, because especially as everything's kind of coming down with the Spotify and Netflix, possibly, it just doesn't seem like they'd be picked up by Dior, but they also could be picked up by Dior because they're trying to rebrand and she has a new agent. So we'll see. Let me read this first. Okay, so this is from the Daily Beast, but it's basically the same thing that they're all saying. After they lost the $20 million Spotify contract by mutual agreement, which some people are like, no, it's not mutual, but maybe it is, and being called effing grifters by Bill Simmons, which we discussed the other day. Oh my gosh, what a harsh, and he's an executive at Spotify. That Netflix, and then on Sunday today, guys, The Sun, and again, we don't know if these are true, Netflix unlikely to renew Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's reported 81 million pounds or $104 million contract, although they did have a really successful docuseries. Seriously, believing that lemon has fully been squeezed. In other words, they're like, there's nothing else. We can't get anything else out of them, so why invest? So meanwhile, just as one door closes, another one opens. I just said the same thing. Meghan could be on the verge of signing to be the new face of Dior. I don't know why they're saying just Meghan, because I thought it was Meghan and Harry, but let's go with the Meghan thing. This is kind of a pattern, though, that I'm seeing, that even with the Spotify deal, it was supposed to be Harry and Meghan together, and it ended up that Harry was on one podcast with Tyler Perry and Elton John for like a Christmas special, and then he wasn't on it. So they always say they're signing, let's say William Morris, we're signing Meghan and Harry, and yet you only hear about Meghan. So it's interesting. So a source, the paper says rumors swirling around LA suggest she may be on the brink of signing a major deal with French couture house Dior to make her the face of the company. I just feel personally that she doesn't have that type of clout yet, or let's say image. I feel like Johnny Depp, who has a deal, there's other pseudo royals, well, they are royals out of Monaco that are just very elegant. They fit the brand. I personally don't think that Meghan fits the brand very well, but that's just my opinion. A source is quoted as saying there have been rumors for weeks that she's about to sign the deal, which has put the gossip mill into overdrive. If she pulls that off, this is an interesting statement, then no one will remember that her silly little podcast got canceled after one season. That's interesting. Intriguingly, the paper adds that her managers at the talent agent of William Morris knew the Spotify announcement was coming. It might be a shock to everyone else, but we've been working on the rebranding of Meghan for weeks. Perhaps her husband could join her in the deal. Harry wore Dior at the coronation and at the High Court of London. He's been wearing Dior to but his court cases too, and everybody's been talking about that. They've been like, oh, they're all about Dior. And just to keep in mind, and again, guys, I am going to get to your comments and I'll put them on in a second, is that when you're royal in, working in the royal family, you can't have these deals where like you're making, some money off the side and pocketing it from promoting the brand. You just promote the brand because you like it or whatever, and then the brand just has the benefits of that. However, as individuals and people that are in entertainment, totally can do that. That's kind of what it's all about. That's what you're doing. So, and especially they're over here in America. So obviously there's a lot of money to be made. In fact, let me move down here a little bit. Typically these deals go for like about 15 to 20 million. So where the rumors are like, hey, they out of the Spotify deal, even though it was a $20 million deal, because they didn't produce, they really did not make any money. Like they made maybe 2 or 3, maybe 5 million tops. Now with the Dior thing, a whole other thing. So let me get to your comments and then we will talk a little bit more about Dior. So let me see. But Dior doesn't need them. Oh gosh, there's so many good comments back here. I got to go all the way back. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. Sorry guys, I'm rewinding. Okay. People are quite happy about what's going on with them. Karma is, because the people in the UK aren't crazy about them. Spotify execs, yes, we talked about that shocking comment, but he was just like, this is what I'm calling them, effing grifters. Meghan Markle is unfashionable and ungrateful, plus her credibility is finally being challenged. Dior marketing would be shooting the brand directly in the knees to bring that disaster on board. That's what I personally feel. I feel like obviously it'd be a huge advantage to Team Sussex, but I just don't see how that would elevate Dior itself unless they had some kind of favor, to William Morris. I don't know, but I know what people do in these companies and these agencies and in the marketing departments. They look at numbers like, is this valuable enough for us to put an investment in? Right. So I agree with you. I don't think it would be a good match. I think like Johnny Depp, for example, all of the films that he's done, his talent, even his controversy and him coming out of that is something appealing. I feel like there's other people that are great, great representatives. And plus, he was sort of into Dior, and his whole family was into Dior prior to that. Diana did make that Lady Dior bag iconic. Yes. Ultra. Okay. I'm sorry. Specifically that they insulted Kate and William, which is, yeah, it's still something. I don't know if William's going to ever be able to get through that. I don't think anybody wishes them poorly. It's just that they keep coming out and using their prestige and their opportunities to use them to create a victim status. So we don't like how they've done that. Most people that are here, Dana, are like myself, people who were mad fans and excited for them and are disappointed. So I think what we're doing is we would love to look for something that would be transformative, like where they would change, where they would go, oops. But Harry has not been contrite, especially. He has not humbled himself and said, you know what, I made a mistake with that. She has not either. And so it's just, we're watching. It's sort of like history in the making. And yeah, most people here, when we first started doing these live streams, we're balanced. We had like half and half. And now it's like, especially after the catastrophic car chase, it's been like, what the heck are they doing? That I have a feeling that the Dior rumors are true. A lot of these are true. I don't understand it. I don't think it would be a good thing for Dior. I think it would be great for Meghan and Harry. I don't think it would be great for Dior. And Natalie Portman but Dior doesn't need them. I agree. Okay. Why would they do that when they are failing in popularity? Okay. So this is what I think. I think with William Morris, William Morris wants to rebrand, which means they want to the truth is that Meghan and Harry have cheapened their brand, even though they've made a lot of money, because of hitting below the belt. So what way can you make them kind of elegant celebrities, which is where they should have been coming from a royal family, but by putting them in high fashion? So William Morris is probably thinking, if you start just like, you're not even talking, but you're modeling, you look beautiful, you're on camera, maybe that will shift the brand perception wise. So now their new deals that they have can be kind of at that level, be more elegant. People won't be thinking of them as cheap because they've kind of cheapened out their own brand. So maybe, like I said, this is good for Meghan. I don't see the benefit for Dior, but William Morris probably, had pulled some favors, I don't want to support Meghan gossip. It hurts Harry and their kids. Y'all enjoy your day. Thank you. Dana, but they are the ones to blame, not us gossiping. Well, we are doing royal news, royal commentary, and there will be gossip. We just, it's what people do in entertainment. So I don't believe she will be visiting UK ever again. What do you think? I don't know how a person that's married to a British prince cannot show up in the UK. As long as they're married, I would think she would have to at some point, but she doesn't really have to. But it seems so out there, far-fetched. And honestly, this is kind of a very deep question, guys. Okay, I want you guys to chew on this. Let's talk about culture a little bit. If it was, let's say, German culture, let's say she was Moroccan, let's say she was Greek, let's say he was that. And all of a sudden, you're keeping your children away from that heritage. Now, and again, I'm going to be really, really blunt here, but I want you guys to think about this. So I think it's an insult to keep them away from their heritage. Now, the truth is that the heritage is very British. You think of very white bread, right? So you pull in kind of the race card sometimes, even though you're not consciously thinking of it. It's a travesty when you take people away for their culture. Let's say he was a Jamaican prince. Let's say he was, I don't know, any kind of prince. I mean, like I said, he could be Middle Eastern. He could be, whatever, like some other. But the fact you would think that it's unbelievably insulting because you're taking them away from their own personal history, legacy, and heritage. And the truth is that England and Britain and Harry does have a culture and a history that still would need to be addressed. So my opinion would be, if you marry into that, you become part of it. Like, you become part of it, and you want to introduce your kids to that, and especially if they come over from that country. So that's my opinion. So why is it different from the whole British thing? Like, why doesn't she want to, like, have them basically soak in the culture, the royal culture, which is what their own personal legacy is, while the king is still around, while their grandfather is still available for them, and they had access to their great grandmother, who was a great queen. I don't understand. But to answer your question, I can't imagine her not. And at the same time, I kind of agree with you that she probably won't ever go back. But I can't imagine how that's even a possibility. I think that her fear may be tied to the fact of, like, what's going to go on with my kids. Am I going to lose my kids if I go back over there? It's different rules, different laws. I don't know. So I don't know what anybody else thinks about them maybe going back. Maybe. Okay. So nobody knows how much they made from Spotify. I don't really use it. Yeah. We don't know. And we do know that Spotify admits outside, well, I guess combined with Harry and Meghan, it's not just them, that they way overspent on celebrities, like celebrity podcasts. Like, they spent hundreds of millions, and it wasn't just Harry and Meghan. And so they did admit to their own mistake that they over promised. But then again, Harry and Meghan didn't produce either. So we don't know. We really don't know whether they got their full amount, their 18 million, and could go, okay, fine. I basically got $2 million, an episode. Woo! Or if they only got a part of that, and now they're moving on. So we'll see. Okay, so I doubt Dior will be paying a premium now, and that is something that needs to come, that we need to talk about too, because now that they lost sort of their cachet, like, okay, now I'm worth 20 million, and now they lost it. The word on the street before this Dior possibility was that their brand wasn't as valuable now. So I think they want to try to associate with Dior so it can bring it back up. But will they invest? I personally don't see the advantage for Dior. Like I said, I see the advantage for Meghan and Harry. I don't see it for Dior. Okay. Yes, it is a catch-22 that we're talking all about Dior now. And we're talking about Harry and Meghan in Dior, just like we did with the Netflix series. We watched it out of curiosity. The problem was it didn't hold the brand up long enough. When you have just curiosity seekers, it does boost the brand for a second. Some of these brands are like, well, we'll take it because they'll just be curious. But the thing is, long term, if you have like a long-term deal with a lot of money and like it's not pushing the product, it burns out very fast. Okay, so Meghan does have that Dior look. Dior likes their female models to have that dark Southern European look for tan skin and dark hair. Well, Meghan is beautiful. There is no doubt about the fact that she's beautiful. And I think she's gorgeous. I don't know. I don't know, Bunny. I think kind of that I don't feel like she is, she has that kind of like slick, sophisticated, elegant, um, I don't know. She seems like she has more of a commercial than a high fashion face, but she's gorgeous. So there's that. I mean, it's not like they're hot. They would be hiring anybody who isn't photogenic for their brand, right? So we'll see. We will see. We don't know. Okay, so I only listen to Spotify because of her podcast. Other than that, I don't use Spotify. So I'm curious as to what you guys thought of the whole Spotify thing. I only listened to a couple of episodes. I was kind of bored. Um, okay, so Depp is very popular. Yes. He's very talented too. Very talented guy. Speaking of as a UK citizen, okay, yes, we do wish that they fell flat on their backsides. She has turned a happy Harry into a ginger whinger. Yeah, and then that's the thing that I think so many of us are frustrated with is that, looks, I said this on the last time we went live, which was just like I think 2 days ago. I actually think that Harry, because he's so natural in front of the camera and kind of real, that had not all of this drama gone down and he decided not to brand by like taking his family out, that he actually would have been extremely valuable. He could have still left the royal family and done many things. He should be on a podcast and have his own podcast. Somebody would probably have to direct him or whatever. But, I just feel like he on his own could have done really well, but I feel like he's got a little bit of insecurity there. And of course he's obsessed with his wife, or at least, he was. We don't know what's going on now because there's a lot of rumors. So Harry and Meghan fueled the fire with the book, car chases, not showing up for coronation, disclosures of private royal family info like his Todger. Don't you believe this is the beginning of the end? Well, it's the beginning of the end of chapter 1. I mean, I don't believe that nothing that they've done, in my opinion, has been wise from a PR standpoint. Like I've mentioned this before, that like if you had like a Madonna album, I'm going way back, they breathe for a little bit before they come back out with all of the, the top 10 hits. They have not taken a breather. They just come out hitting. They're trying to milk it for all that it's worth, and it's old now. And they've done things that aren't as simple as us just hearing the same loop of like a Madonna song over and over and we're tired of it. No, they've done things like totally insult an entire organization that people still in the UK are obsessed with. Granted, it may not be as popular as it used to be, but still very popular. So, and now even the Americans, which there are millions of us that were sort of royal watchers, we started by going, oh wow, we have an American princess now, and like he's going to be in America, and then now all the stuff that's released, we don't even like it. So yeah, I think it's the beginning of the end, but I don't know what they're going to do next. I think that they should just be quiet, kick back for a while, do some things that are good, like, I mean, he should get out his show about Invictus, the heart of Invictus, but we still haven't heard like when that's coming out. We do think that it's coming out, but I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So Johnny Depp is playing Louis the 15th in a new movie. I don't really like Depp, but I am anxious to see the movie. I like him. It's the movie about Madame du Barry. What was her what was her actual name? It's on the tip of my tongue. You guys can help me with that. Okay. I'm in marketing business. It's not going to cheapen the brand. It's smart and strategic move to go to Dior. If they take her. No, I was saying the opposite. I did not say it cheapens. Well, I was saying that it's a move up for Meghan and Harry. I don't think she's at that level for Dior. I think they'll get a lot of eyes on their stuff, but I don't think that I personally don't think that she's consistently kind of that brand. Like she doesn't have that polish to me. She's beautiful, but whatever. But I'm sure Dior, then maybe they'll just take that risk and they'll enjoy it. The British royal family has disrespected Duchess Meghan. I would never speak to his family again. I mean, none of them are innocent. That's a whole other podcast live stream that we could go through. I mean, there's, I personally think the king, though, has been really patient with her and showed them a lot of respect. That's not for me to say that I think Charles and Camilla are these innocent people. I don't feel that way, but I have observed him to be really patient with her, in my opinion. Okay, Harry just attended an event alone. Okay, this isn't gossip. We base our opinions on fact, what they do and don't do, and how they act and how they treated the queen. And I agree, to deny the kids contact with the family is a big mistake. Both sides of the family, because her dad, Thomas Markle, was a talented lighting designer, a guy who loves Meghan, and it's just crazy that they're not even connected. It's very, very sad. I mean, you can see it both ways. Okay. Meghan's the mother and she can make decisions about whether her children will visit. Yes. I wouldn't send my children anywhere to be slighted or treated wrong. But how do you know her kids are going to be treated wrong? Because the king himself is obsessed with wanting to take Archie and Lilibet into the fold and just embrace them as a grandfather. So I don't know if they would be treated poorly. And I can't think of ways that they have been treated poorly because they haven't really had a chance. Like she came over for the Platinum Jubilee and had like the birthday, kind of like a last minute birthday party. And, that wasn't planned. I will say, okay, they didn't go to the christening, but that was right around the coronation. So I don't know. And Harry is in line to the throne, can't be halfway in and halfway out. He is in line. He is still in line. And there have been examples like Queen Victoria of the fifth in line actually becoming the, the monarch. So even though we think, oh, he's so far down, not necessarily. Yes, the grandfather is the king. And that's the thing. And he's not super old, but he's also not young. And this is a chance for them to be with their grandfather and at least spend some time with them. Okay, so because of a lot of people's love for Meghan and Harry, it doesn't cheapen Dior. Just because a few people hate them, just look at all the talk about Dior in this thread. Yeah, we're talking about Dior, but I do think there have been some polls out where their popularity has crashed in America too. Yes, they have their fan base, but whether or not that'll be enough to warrant the investment. But like I said, if Harry and Meghan can end up getting a deal with Dior, it'll be great for them. Personally, I stand by what I said. I don't think it's going to be great for Dior. I think it'll be kind of even. I don't think it won't be awful for them. And all of these brands, by the way, now, things are changing because everything's coming online. So these magazines and the ads, it's kind of becoming old. The billboards, yes, we see the billboards, but marketing's changing. It really is changing. Okay, so Paula Marshall, why would we treat their children badly? They are just babies. It's not their fault. That's right. Okay, so Stephen, I'm sorry, but I don't see the gorgeous comment being with great merit. She's attractive, yes, but not striking beautifully like Catherine. Yeah. So, okay, so let me explain what I was trying to say earlier. So when you're in an agency and you're like a model or an actress, they kind of typecast you as to whether you're commercial or high fashion. And there's different looks. Meghan has more of a commercial TV look. She's beautiful, but she has more of a TV look. Dior in general, their entire persona is more high fashion. So even though she may have the coloring or she may look like kind of a type that they're going for, personally, I don't see her as high fashion, which is more consistent with what Dior has used in their ads in the past. There are royals who do look more high fashion. Kate looks a little bit more high fashion, but she wouldn't be posing for Dior, I bet. So there are some people like the Grimaldi family. I can't remember which. I think it's one of the kids, one of the princes. He's part of Dior now, and his wife, who's also a royal from Italy. They look very commercial and very perfectly Dior. My opinion is that she's commercial, and so I don't understand the appeal, except that she's what she is and what he is very consistent with high fashion, like Duchess, Prince, royalty, that kind of a thing, high class. That's consistent with Dior. But as far as the look, even though, again, I'll say this again, she's beautiful. They're an attractive couple, 1,000%. I just don't see them looking consistently like what you expect in a Dior ad. And I don't see it benefiting Dior as much as it would them, my opinion. But again, I'm not in their meetings. Like Laurel, what she was saying, or Lauren, I'm sorry. But what she was saying, could absolutely be true. You sit in the marketing meetings, they could look at numbers and go, you know what? We don't care because we've brought in celebrities before that didn't have any baseline number at all, and we did well with their ads, right? Or they may have a different plan for them. Maybe they're going to be spokespeople for Dior rather than just, modeling for them. So there's a lot that they could do by having that alignment. I'm just thinking for print ads, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that idea, but it's a Dior's brand. So there's nothing elegant, charismatic, unique about either one of them. Meghan herself has strange vibes in many photos. I personally don't think of high fashion and or aesthetics when I see her. Yeah, I don't really see her as high fashion either. I think she could sell a lot of different stuff, but now also the impression with them is kind of crashed. Many Hollywood types I've read have passed on Harold and Meghan. Yeah, that's kind of happening a lot. They need to allow their kinds to know the grandparents. Okay. So I have heard through the grapevine, again, we're just gossiping. It's rumored. It's alleged. All of this is alleged. We don't even know if the Dior rumor is true. We don't know. So, but I have heard that so many people are kind of turning their backs on them because they're really not crazy about what they've done and the fact that they failed with their deals. The comment that Bill Simmons said is very, very bold and kind of a tacky statement when he calls them effing grifters. But that's how so many people see them. It's like, put some substance behind your title. Put some substance behind your title. If you're coming to America, have a plan, make it be smart. If you can't figure it out, consult with people who can figure it out, make it smart. Don't make it be highly negative, which it has been. And so a lot of people aren't wanting to work with them because they haven't produced. And it's all about money at the end of the day. I mean, we know so many people who honestly are like not the greatest people, but have a draw to film, right? They have a draw to, like, you will go to the movies because you want to see them because you're curious, but they have kind of a positive image. I mean, some people don't have the positive image, but they can still draw people there and sell stuff. But I don't know if they can. I just don't know if they can. I don't think a grandfather who remembers his grandchildren's birthday will slight his babies. No, I think that is like at the end of the day, his heart is that he wants his grandbabies close. Okay. Charles has always loved children. I'm sure he would love to see his grandkids. When you have a kid, it's not just yours, the entire family. Yes, that's very true. Can we just, Meghan does seem like that's the impression that we get. But for example, we could also think, okay, she hasn't been around some of the things that Harry's doing. Like, she hasn't supported him when he went into court in the UK. She didn't go to the coronation. So you could look at it as like, oh gosh, she's not supporting him and she's, whatever, like trying to be a control freak by just saying, I'm staying home, right? But I feel like in some ways she kind of can't win, because then if she would go, there'd be attention. Like, so it's a complicated thing. I think she's controlling. I think that is why he doesn't have contact with his family. But I also want to be really careful as to what we think we know and what we know. But I know from personal experience with people in the world that when they get together with somebody and they isolate away from their power source and their and other ears to listen to, that they are narcissistic, and there's a level of abuse there. And Meghan seems to be isolating her children and her husband from family support on both sides. So that's how it seems, but we don't know. Harry could be saying, I don't want the kids talking to your dad or my dad, but I don't think that's the case. I heard they were doing good with Netflix. Love their documentary. Okay, so this is what I heard. The documentary did very well. And I think that most of us were like, okay, yeah, they said a few things that may have been, triggers for people, but it really wasn't that bad. Like, it was interesting and it was good, but then the book came out, and then Harry decided to do his therapy sessions, like pay per view. And then it was South Park, not that that was in their control, but then it was the catastrophic car chase and all the drama around the coronation. It's like it all kind of like piled up, right? I did hear that Netflix was going to stay true to releasing The Heart of Invictus, which I think that should have been Harry's approach. I mean, I don't know what Meghan's should have necessarily been, but Harry's approach all along. You do a podcast, talk about the Invictus guys, the guys who have had injury, like go into your wheelhouse and be real and ask them questions and you will thrive. But he didn't do that, right? So he could have done it with Spotify. Netflix dropped Meghan's animated series, Pearl. There's a lot of stuff that Live to Lead or whatever they had failed. So word on the street is that people are wondering, just like you're wondering, like, okay, wait, like, are they going to be like, is Netflix still hanging out to Netflix has not said that they're dropping them. That is a fact. Like people will be like, okay, like in the article I just read, oh no, we're dropping them. They have not made an announcement like that. But what we do know is that they haven't have any new things besides the one that they want to release, Heart of Invictus or whatever. They want to release that. And I think we'll all see that. But sometimes you get to be up on the plate and you just, after swinging a lot, you need to like connect with the ball. And I don't think that's what we've seen with them. And yes, didn't a British poll put them below Andrew? Yes. Yeah, that is true. Meghan is not at the same level as Natalie Portman. No. And that's the other thing that drove me nuts about the catastrophic car ride. Because when you're in New York City, Natalie Portman, like on any given night, you have celebrities at that level trying to get around town. They don't have a problem. They don't. They figure it out. And like Meghan is not at that level. She's just not. And they could have been. They could have been because they had the titles. So be elegant, be classy, maintain your connection to the royal family, even if you're, like hashing it out behind the scenes. Show some tact, because people in Hollywood, they tell a lot of secrets. They want to know you're the type of person who can keep those secrets. You can't keep the secrets. Okay, so she's not a huge celebrity that would bring up a conversation of any brand. There are so many. Exactly. And there's so many kind of young and hip stars, that are out right now that look very good on camera. So I don't know. We will see. Okay, so that Dior comment by you, very intelligent, very informative. Toothpaste maybe, but not high fashion. Yeah. And I don't even know. Okay, so let me take a few more questions. Okay, I think the best way for them to re-enter family would be to show up as a family with the children, but this is her power, right? Just show up. I'd be like, hey, can I get Frogmore back right now? Remember how we put money back into that place? Can we just keep it and come back? And we'll be quiet for a few years. And then, like, I don't know. That would be interesting. I don't know if that would ever happen. If they divorced, do you think that Harry would go back? I think he misses home, but he's got kids, Okay, what does Bradley Cooper in New York City just walking down the street? Paul McCartney, no issues. Yeah. That's what happened. That's what happens in New York all the time. Okay, so the big question, guys, is okay, Spotify for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle is done. They've been called effing grifters by some of the corporate staff. We don't know. They might sue for that. They like to sue about everything. They might sue. You never know. Netflix, we aren't sure. We know that there's no new production that they're planning except to release what has already been under production, which is Heart of Invictus, which, by the way, has taken forever for them to produce. So we don't know yet about Netflix. Will they or will they not be signing a deal with Dior? We know that they signed a deal with William Morris, which means that William Morris probably has been having conversations saying, how do we elevate brand Sussex so that everybody can make money? How do we elevate it? One great way is to have them partner with a high-level, highly respected classic brand. Dior would be perfect for that. I don't think that they're perfect for Dior. I think Dior is perfect for their situation, for what they want. I think there's other fashion brands that might work for them, but I don't think it's Dior. That's me. Okay, so true. I met Robert De Niro in Soho. He was walking on the street. Exactly. Like, I'm just saying, it's questionable. Okay, so what we're wondering is Dior Duchess. Okay, I am going to, guys, try to figure out when I can have like a regular, so I do these pop-up lives, maybe like a Wednesday night, maybe something like that, so we can do sort of a royal roundup, so we can kind of talk about this. In the meantime, let's just see what happens. I was so excited too when they got married. What an absolute disappointment. They had a platform to do good work. Selfish. Yes, I was very excited for, actually, I thought that Meghan did a great job over there, and it was very refreshing and very awesome. And then not so much. So that was sad. All right, guys. So have a great, great night. Oh, happy Father's Day to those of you who are fathers, and we will talk soon.